Central Intelligence is brought to us by the director of Dodgeball and We Are the Millers, and stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart. The movie is about the former popular kid in high school named Calvin, who's now an accountant and leads a very dull life. He ends up reconnecting with a former classmate who was bullied all through high school for being overweight through Facebook, and it turns out he's now a badass, super fit, bully-hating CIA agent, Bob. Now, The Rock is basically on the run the entire film. He's been set up for something he obviously didn't commit, and he needs Kevin Hart's help in order to crack this code and be able to find out who really is behind these international crimes with the code name the Black Badger. What I like about Central Intelligence was definitely the dynamic between Kevin Hart and The Rock. They obviously have great off-screen chemistry, and that just relates to even better on-screen chemistry, which you really get a feel for. Even though they're very different in this film, you can tell that these guys definitely get along through shooting, and that definitely makes a better experience for the audience, at least in my opinion. This movie definitely had a ton of great action. It had a ton of laughs as well. It never really felt dull at any point. I really liked how they sort of continued this theme of who the Black Badger is, but that sort of became not necessarily dull, but you really figured it out for yourself towards the latter half of the film. Like, once they get to a certain point, you kind of realize, okay, you already know what's going to go on, but it's still a fun adventure to go along with. Also, this film has a ton of great cameos. I think that I was more surprised at some of the cameos in this film than anything else, because obviously The Rock and Kevin Hart are the main stars here, but there are several people I did not expect to be in this film, and sometimes it kind of took me out of the film because I just wasn't expecting it. It completely caught me off guard, and I had a big grin on my face when I got to see some of these people, and it was a very pleasant surprise. But I think that's where I'm going to begin my downfalls about this film, is that because it was such a surprise to me, I feel like it took me out of the movie a little bit, and I was like almost giggling to myself, like, oh my god, they're in this movie too. So it sort of took me out of the film at times. The story overall is very decent, but at the same time it starts to become very predictable towards the final third act. And I think that was sort of another negative about this film, because it made you feel like the characters were kind of dumb in figuring it out when you already sort of figured it out. Unless I was just good enough to figure it out, I'm not sure. But I felt like it sort of reiterated a point that the audience already had figured out, and you were just sort of waiting for the characters to figure it out as well. But perhaps my biggest complaint about this film, and I don't even really want to call it a complaint, but The Rock in this film is, at various points throughout the film, extremely annoying. Like, he does it so over the top, and I know that The Rock is extremely smart. I know that he's a big badass guy, and the role that they kind of gave him at times was often very dumb, very innocent. So it sort of felt like an odd mix, because you're so used to seeing The Rock in these badass roles where he just kicks the door down and kicks ass, basically, that when he starts to play like this softer character, like when he was first sort of starting in acting, like in Be Cool and like The Game Plan and all that stuff, like he kind of adds that little bit to it, which is not the Rock we really love. We want to see the badass Rock that's like in Hercules or in, San Andreas, the Fast and Furious movies. That's the Rock we want to see, but sometimes he adds the character of like this dumb innocent guy, which was not that great. It became annoying really, really fast. The grade that I'm going to give Central Intelligence is a B-. Now, this film was definitely good. Like I said, it has tons of great action, tons of great laughs. But I think there are certain downfalls, especially in the story. I don't want to say the performances, because obviously The Rock and Kevin Hart have a great chemistry. But I think the way that the characters were written and the way that they had acted it out based on how it was written was pretty much the downfall of the entire movie. If they had let Kevin Hart and The Rock riff off of each other a little bit more, like you see a deleted scene towards the end of the film, like not deleted scene rather, gag reel type of thing at the end of the film, you really see how well they work together and they play off of each other. If it had been less scripted and more play off of each other, I think it would have been a lot better film overall. Guys, that's my review for Central Intelligence. Have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and like always, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos, and we'll see you guys in the next one.